Howdy, everyone. It's me, Susan Pinsky. I'm calling out with Susan Pinsky. We're here. We're going to have a fun show today. We will be talking about aliens, UAPs. Are they aliens? Are they UAPs? We're not sure. Drones. We're going to be talking about a lot of fun things, maybe about quantum leaps, timelines, shadow people. We have interdimensional beings that nobody really knows about and we're still working on. Everybody's got curiosities about this. So we're bringing in Emilie Hagen from Emilie Knows Everything. She's a return guest and she's sort of a co-host today. Also, you can find her at Emilie with an IE Knows Everything. And we're also here with my buddy Eddie Connor. He is my clairvoyant psychic meeting. Wait, what did I just say? Clairvoyant psychic medium. He's happy to be here again. I always get excited when people want to come back and talk to dead people or give us advice about whatever it is going on in the world that we can't understand in our normal brains. Anyways, not to say he is an abnormal brain or anything, but he is a wonderful psychic medium. And our guest today is Jennifer Kermody, better known as JK Ultra. You can find her on TikTok. She has been known to younger generations guide to the secrets of the universe and the mysteries of the cosmos. And she loves to explore spirituality, to metaphysics, conspiracy theories, and to aliens. So anyways, I am tripping over my tongue today because I have been dealing with a new baby. A new baby came into the Pinsky household. We are now proud grandparents of Eloise Drew Pinsky. She is adorable, and I'm trying to focus on work again. So, yeah, and all I can do is think about her. I don't know if Kaleb has a photo, but speaking of birthdays, I'd love to announce her birthday. So, welcome to the world, my little pumpkin pie. I love you. Anyways, back to the show. So here we are. Jennifer, thank you for joining us. JK, we really appreciate you coming in. And I am going to let Eddie start with a numerological psychic reading for you, just to tap into your soul before we get started. I cannot speak. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, I will let you guys take over from here.
There's something in the air because my hands are shaking and they never do that. And it feels tongue-tied-ish energy.
And I'm not even talking.
Right. See?
There's obviously something wrong.
Okay. So we have your birth date and your birth information. And that's what I like to use to tune into somebody. So if I talk too fast, you can be like, bitch, slow down, and I will. You are a life path 5. This year, your focus is the number 6, personally. You're born on a day that's a 7, and you're born in a year that's an 8. That says a lot about you. That's a 5, 6, 7, 8 energy, which means get the hell out of my way. It means...
dancing, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Child, I miss those days when I was thin and cute and didn't know it. So the life path 5 is a bit of a shapeshifter. They're beautifully physically, and then they bring beauty to the world, usually in a way for you personally that's got your own genius in it. That 7 is the genius mentality. But when you're doing what you love to do, it's almost like you're getting downloaded by the universe. You're also, listen, I'm going to be honest, everybody. I was sitting at the dealership waiting for my car. And so I was sitting just writing streamlining consciousness. So I'm just going to start at the very top. Okay, some of this stuff is out there. Okay, it's a full disclosure. I'm so nervous.
I've heard the 5s are beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
My brother said he only dates 5s. Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's like the new astrology.
Oh, really?
They're like, what's your life path number?
People should lie.
They say that 5s stay beautiful the longest.
Yeah, they inside and outside. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote down Old Soul, you have a giant group of guides. Like,
I thought you were going to say guys.
we will see, because I'm going to ask who Keith is. So there's a lot of fire in your soul, and you're a very purpose-driven human, and you act on your truth, your passion. You would jump off a cliff first if it was a truth-seeking mission, and then figure out how you're going to survive it later, especially if it were for the greater good of people.
Oh,
I feel an enormous.
that's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Would you jump?
I mean, with that behind it, yeah.
Yes. And there's going to be a lot of TV. You may already do TV. We have not met before. But you have that journalistic reporter, researcher energy about you. And that is a 5 thing. Here's what we're being shown in the world. And you're like, not today, Satan. And then you go down in there and you pull up the truth. And then you package it in a way where most people can hear it that normally wouldn't be able to hear it. And then you seduce them with your beauty and your spiritual.
That's exactly what you.
Wow.
That's what
Literally
she does.
my job.
That's literally what she does.
Yeah, I was so excited I wrote that. And then they went, fire, 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 energy. To be careful not to burn yourself out. You sometimes overextend yourself.
Like I did.
That happens. And then it's like, I feel an urgency, not a fear, but an urgency in your solar plexus that people aren't waking up fast enough for you. You have an amazing ability to see both sides of everything, good and bad, but you try not to get sucked into the bad. It feels like you are on a race against time, like you're trying to beat the clock. And then even as I wrote this, I heard scream, wake the people. So this is going to be fun. I'm less nervous. Okay. It says you're a leading edge teacher, a visionary, otherworldly awareness, and a multidimensional travel. Then I went voyeur.
Yay, fun.
Yeah. And it seems like
I want to know about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. Seems like you're building a huge wake the F up network.
Yep, you are.
Then this is the part where it gets weird. I kept feeling mothership energy. And then I literally saw your face.
She's looking at me like, I'm like, she's kind of creeping me out a little bit. Like, ooh, yay.
Yeah, it's your face on a monitor. Remember the Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson screen video?
Yes.
And where their faces would pop up on that ship on the monitor, even though they were in front of it.
Right.
And so I literally saw your face there, and there's all of these beings on the ship. So here you are on Earth, and then here on Earth, you're doing the teaching, the uplifting, and doing your magic. The information's going up to the mothership, but it's also coming down to you. And then over here, you have an inner connection.
Show the people your diagram on the camera. Yeah, I don't know. It may not be in focus over here, but it's kind of cool the way he draws this. He's got he's been drawing since he got here. This is his little.
It's crazy.
And you didn't look her up beforehand?
Good Lord, no.
No,
I
they
like
don't
to
have
be as surprised.
That's true. You don't know how to use Instagram.
What?
Cool.
This is the real deal.
I'm just enough to be dangerous. But
yeah, and I like to tell the fans and everything that we don't provide any information up front. And lately, we've been saying, oh, this is so-and-so, but our psychics don't go online and do a bunch of Googling in advance. That's their deal. So we make sure, because people are like, oh, you could Google it. I mean, I've had psychics say things about me that nobody knew before. So you just have to believe us. But I mean, none of our followers are, being trolls about that anyways.
And the other thing is, when we tune in, we have to ask also specifically for things that have never, ever been on the internet. I'm so old school. On the World Wide Web.
Yeah. On the big www. Remember when we did that?
My mama one time she called me from North Carolina trying to figure out how to get on the World Wide Web. I said, Mama, what button are you pushing? And she kept saying, this one on the far right. I said, Mama, that's the fax machine. And she said, well, I'll call you later, Edward. And she hung up on me.
Edward. Hey, your name's Edward?
No. She calls me that when she's trying to make a point.
Oh, okay.
You're going to live in 2 countries. Is Europe your thing, or is it another country you're drawn to the most?
I'm not sure, but I feel like potentially like Costa Rica or something down there.
When they get
Maybe
all of our
Peru.
military bases off of it. Okay. at some point you're going to have a team of like-minded people that are helping you. And literally I wrote producers, executives, writers, content creators, etc., where you work less doing all of that yourself and you have a team coming in. I see books. And then
Wow.
there's this thing with movies, scripted projects, unscripted projects, and documentaries.
Wow.
And I was like, who is this girl? And then there is...
This is a lot. You don't normally write this many notes, do you?
Well, it's because I didn't have
You're
anywhere to go. I was
There's a
trapped.
lot.
I was sitting in the dealership in the room, drinking coffee and doing this.
Wow. Oh, I thought you did while you're here. Anyway.
No, I just had the JK Ultra thing. I went, So
Wow.
they kept saying this, and I know it sounds weird. I kept hearing, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. But I don't know if that has anything to do with you or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says, what do you need to know right now in moving forward? And they said, money. Your financial security is coming soon, and it's going to get better and better, faster and faster. And they're laughing even as I say that out loud. You already know that, but you don't have it all in your hand right now.
Right.
And it's getting ready to be evenly distributed. And then there'll be some things you also film in another country, or you may actually end up being more known in other countries first than here. And then it's going to piggyback on top of each other. And that's going to be interesting to see. Also, you seem like you're a lot of fun, but you seem very serious, very responsible, like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And they're like, stop that. I believe, I know you're safe and I know you're protected, but it says once in a while you look over your shoulder like you feel like somebody's watching you or somebody's...
The government? No.
Yeah, something. But you're safe. But it did feel like once in a while you're like...
A lot of mediums feel like that. They're afraid to say stuff because they're afraid that the FBI will show up on their doorstep or they'll just go missing.
Right.
Child.
When you find the real truth and you say it out loud,
Right.
right?
Oh, yeah. If I go missing and you come to my house and there's a full pint of Ben and Jerry's there, I've been murdered. I'm just letting you know now, everybody. If there's anything sweet in that house that hasn't been nibbled on, I'm dead. And then it says there's a scene. Oh, they show me a scene from the movie Cocoon. And it's that scene where Steven Guttenberg, he was so cute in that movie, but where he was in the swimming pool with the beautiful woman, and then she unzipped her body, and then the
alien popped out.
Yes, and then he was like, "Oh my
I have
God!"
to watch that again.
I just got goosebumps. If you don't currently have high-profile people, undercover agents, high-ranking government, military, Secret Service people quietly giving you highly classified information now, you're going to.
Wow.
So get your, these are things you need to know now.
You have to show her face, Kaleb. She's like, wow, looking at me like, oh my gosh.
Get your rest. You need to relax. It's not your job to save the world. The past suffering, pain with all of, what the hell did I write
Will
here?
all be worth it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Pace yourself. And are you a twin, or do you have twin energy somewhere in your chart?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any twins in my family that I know of.
Okay. No Gemini in your rising, your moon, anything like that?
Jupiter in Gemini, which is right now.
What does Jupiter rule? Fabulousness?
I
Did you
don't
say
understand.
luck?
Like expansion.
Oh,
Yeah,
luck.
expansion.
Okay.
Luck, yeah.
Ooh. And then I kept hearing that, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. Then there's a connection from the past or in the near future. What's your connection to the northeastern United States, like New York, Delaware?
I grew up in Jersey and New York.
He has Jersey written down
Okay,
here.
that's so crazy. And who is Keith?
I don't know. I'm thinking of who Keith is.
And so it's a male with a T sound, like Keith, Kurt, Tucker. And I'm wondering if it's back connected to that era somehow, because I wrote that and I heard his
Which
name.
era?
The northeastern part of the United States for her.
Oh, okay.
By the way, you're going to go back there to clean some house,
Okay.
take some names, and then you'll come back. Okay.
So here's a little tidbit. Raquel Welch's daughter was the girl in the pool with Steve.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Remember, she was pretty hot. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you. I love
On
information
YouTube?
like that.
Okay.
And do you have a lightsaber?
I don't have one yet.
I saw a lightsaber just now when I wrote the
That'd be good merch for you.
CKT thing.
What the heck is that?
It's like Star Wars.
Well, yeah. Wait,
You should sell those for merch.
Right.
Yeah.
why? Oh my God.
The light up. It's like a light up sword.
hmm And then there, I don't know if these are living or past, but do you already know living or past? A man with a BRN like Brian. If there's a BRN, there's a BR, so they're separate. BR's Barry, Baron, Rob, Robbie, Robert. And then the BRN is Brian, Brandon. If you don't know who it is, it'll make more sense later.
Okay.
And then there's that L female. I forgot I'd even written that, but you got a dead female with an L sound somewhere around you. I doubt your mama's middle name and your mama's middle name. CK, wait, what was
Right.
your dad's name?
His name's Russell.
Russell. That's this C's and S's and C's and K's sound the same, but double L's. What's his mother's name?
Annette.
No, damn. It's going to drive me crazy. There's a dead woman. She's getting on my nerves over behind you, but she's very wispy. She's sort of holographic. She's sort of doing that sort of thing like there's scratchy, bad analog videotape behind you, but she's nice.
Like
she's
my
not,
intro.
she's not.
I think it's going around.
And I feel like there's somebody around you who definitely is on the other side who has the name of a flower or tree or plant like rose or fern or lily, something like that. But you need to take a break. They said you're tired,
I have a lot going on.
but you don't look tired.
Thank
No, you look great.
You also should be having contracts getting ready to sign.
Yeah. I have a contract I'm trying to get out of right now, actually.
And then as soon as you're out of it, you got another one right on the heels of it that you want to be in.
Okay.
And by the way, they're supposed to pay you to get out of that
We'll see.
because you might get you some money, honey. And do you have any questions?
I would love to just like validate some of these things that are here, some of these, like, especially the weirder stuff.
Yes, thank you.
You know?
Because
When you said there's some weird stuff coming up, I was like, it's definitely aliens for sure.
yes.
So I have, not only is it like an interest of mine, I had a UFO experience with my whole family as a child. And then after going under hypnosis, we discovered that there was an abduction. And so like some of the stuff that you're drawing is the stuff that like came up in the hypnosis. Like you said, like the unzipping
Whoa. Got the
is
chills.
like,
I did.
You did?
so, you know, without getting into, so I had like, we had a full UFO experience in the physical that everybody saw. It was completely, everybody saw it. And then as an adult, when I went under hypnosis, first time I went under, they said like it was not safe for me to know what happened that day. So that there was missing time. Then after a couple years, I went under hypnosis again. And we asked like what happened that day. And they said that there was like a soul exchange, that they removed the original soul from the body and put a different soul in the body.
Twins. Crazy.
So then it's interesting that this type of, that you're drawing is kind of what came up in that hypnosis, where there was kind of like a teacher role
Yeah.
that I was doing with them. And then I'm coming here on Earth with this kind of teacher role, which all the stuff you said about like the books, everything, this is all already happening. All of this stuff is already here. But then with this like kind of group of beings on the other side, it's kind of like also, you know, the gray aliens are different than a lot of other types of aliens. They have a lot of, maybe not the best reputation, but
Yep.
I love them. I understand them. I trust them. And, you know, they're trying to learn about themselves also through us and through these experiences. And they're also trying to help us in ways, but they just are not as, you know, not in an emotional way. They're just like the most effective, whatever's the most efficient. So, you know, they will abduct someone and take their original soul out and put another soul in because it's like that's the most efficient thing to do. So it's very interesting, like these things that you wrote down specifically connected to the alien stuff, which that happened in New Jersey, the alien abduction. And there's like obviously all of these other things too about the mothership energy, all of this, that's all like spot on. And then the stuff just about me as a person and what I do and, you know, being like a researcher, reporter, and being able to distill things and like process them and put them out in like a really condensed form and get them to people that they would not normally get to.
And I think the 5 and the 6, 7, 8, you assimilate it so quickly, like you're not human.
That explains it.
You truly do. You assimilate. It's like you can look at that and go, got it, and then go to the next thing. Where it would take somebody like me days to sift through it and then try to make sense of it. You're not even trying to make sense of it. You're just sort of like, okay, got it.
Right.
And then you're off to the next thing. What's Florida for you?
My best friend's in Florida right now. I have had like different stuff throughout life, like different people from there, different people going there.
Okay. And then it's a common name, Metatron?
Oh, yeah.
Metatron?
That's
Metatron.
common?
That's a common name. Oh, yeah, that's what my granddaughter's middle name is. Metatron.
Metatron.
Okay.
What are you guys
Big.
talking about?
You mean in the
And I have a
alien
connection
universe?
with Metatron.
What is Metatron?
So it's an angel, and
an
it's
angel.
kind of considered like almost like one of the archangels, but they say it's like in some like Kabbalah and things like that.
Oh,
And they
okay.
say that it's like a lot of times when you see this sacred geometry that people wear, it's called Metatron's cube, and that's kind of like a blueprint of reality. So like reality, he's like kind of a molder, manipulator of reality.
Well, he's your gatekeeper. And he's the one who helps you stay shielded so you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder. Because there's just said that you get enormous attention if you were baking cookies in your kitchen for a living. And you go out into the world, you vibrate, resonate, radiate such a higher frequency, it gets an enormous amount of attention. And people will think it's your beauty or it's your body or it's the blouse you're wearing. It comes from the inside out. And so you're shielded by Metatron. And then there's this thing with a cave. Did you go into a cave? Are you supposed to go? Not that cave in Vietnam. Girl, don't go.
I don't know specifically a cave thing, but I am like interested in doing something like that. You know, like it's scary, but I want to do it.
After they get the tunnels cleared. Yeah, but you're going to be doing something in a cave. And when you think of caves, it's scary, but the one in Vietnam.
Under the Getty Museum.
Lord.
It might be burnt down now.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gone now.
Is it really?
I don't know. I was supposed to research that yesterday. I'm like, John, I need some time.
Right.
Yeah, but that's heavy. But the one in Vietnam, the Vietnamese people will not go near it because they know there are beings from other star systems that live in it, but it has its own ecosystem and it's like bigger than 10 New Yorks or something. Yeah, and everything, it's got all 4 seasons in it. It's crazy.
Right. And people believe in these like inner earth civilizations. And
I hope I wrote that down.
I feel like that's where the cave stuff is like going, is like
Okay.
the inner earth civilizations.
But because that's in your energy, the inner earth, the colonies on the ocean floor, and then the islands. You know, there are islands on this planet, allegedly, where the CIA and different people are doing whole studies of people just living on that island, and they've isolated them. Wait, did you see the movie The Island?
Right.
It's like that, but one island is nothing but people that are like the hippies in the 60s with the tie-dye T-shirts and the peace signs. That's their whole existence.
Wow.
And the other one is underwater colonies where it's sort of like not JK Ultra, but Kate Ultra.
What does that mean?
Is that where Michael Jackson is he
Oh.
there?
No.
Is he in the tunnel?
Oh, no. Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. I got, what that? No, I don't know.
They put the MK Ultra people in that one?
Which one?
Or that they
What-
just are like doing something similar to MK Ultra with a colony of people somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not the only group. They're all over the world. And some of them are in undersea bases that are whole gigantic cities. They've known nothing but that.
I love how your reading is like, oh, you're going to live in an underground colony.
Is that where the drones are coming from?
No.
Mine is like, you're going to go to the mall.
How do they get down there?
Betty's around
Do you have readings like this often?
How do
No.
they get in there?
Isn't this a very unique reading?
Wait, are they're human or they're not?
Which ones?
The ones that are underwater.
Yes, they're humans. Some of them are cross-pollinated. Listen, I know how
How do
crazy
they
this
get
sounds.
down there?
Well, they're taken down there
The
sometimes
ship, the
by-
alien ship.
sometimes that way, sometimes by our own government.
Hmm.
That makes the most sense. The military.
Yeah. But I believe that we have, speaking of drones, we've had anti-gravity craft since long before World War II. But I feel like that's around the time that the governments of the world started making deals.
Right.
And part of the deal with that is, well, you can have X number of humans you need and want for whatever purpose, as long as we get this, so we can be the country that rules the world.
Right. And so they talk about this, they call it like the Eisenhower Treaty, and there is documents that,
I just heard that was undone.
oh, wow.
I literally saw that today, that it's been undone.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So the Eisenhower Treaty happened maybe around like 1953.
Right.
And he basically
We saw them.
was spirited. They said in the document, they say that he was spirited to another base where he met with these beings where they called them Etherians. They didn't call them aliens. So then this is really coming back to the interdimensional stuff, because that's where it's going again with the government keep using the words interdimensional. So these were like Etherians, and they made a contract which basically said you're allowed to abduct people and in exchange for giving us technology. And then that kind of comes back to then in the 90s, we had like the Area 51 caller who called into Coast to Coast AM, claimed that he was working at Area 51. He had been discharged.
What was that guy's name? Like Barry or Dave?
Probably.
So like
Frank.
Art Bell was the host, and basically this guy calls in and he's frantic, and he says that an earlier precursor of the government had made a deal with these beings, and he was the first person who really like started to say these are extra dimensional beings. These are not aliens. These are not what we think they are, and that they basically lied, and that they were doing deals with other countries, and that they didn't really keep up their side of the deal of being exclusive to us, that they did make deals with all different governments.
Yep. That's fascinating to me. I've known they've been around since I was old enough to walk and talk. And I've seen 5 ships. I saw 3 V-shaped ships. See, it's hard.
I know.
3 V-shaped ships in a V. In 75, me and my friends were outside. We lived in a trailer park, so we got rocks and taters and started throwing them up at them. And they were flying really, really low, like as low as a football field. The colors on them are colors I'd never seen before. They made no sound whatsoever. And it was a big-ass trailer park. So they just kept going, and everybody was just running through the dirt roads and the cornfields, throwing shit at it.
Oh, wow.
And then the next morning on the radio, the DJs and everybody was calling in saying, "Oh my God, there were spaceships last night. You see them?" And they talked about it for 30 minutes, and then everything went black.
Wow.
And they were threatened by getting fired if they said another word about it, because they didn't want it perpetuated. And by the way, that's near Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
How come people like you two get to have these experiences, but not all of us can?
You can have them too.
I don't think we're all the chosen ones, right? Not all of us are meant to be part of this.
Well, I hate to tell you, you're going to be on a ship, girl.
No, I got seasick.
Not a ship, a ship.
The mothership with Josh.
Yeah. Go pick up Emily.
careful.
Pick up Green Girl.
Careful what you wish
I'm probably
for.
going to Joe Rogan's thing in Austin. It's probably the only mothership.
Oh, no, it'll be better than
I
that.
think he's dying out. I don't know.
I think people are just as obsessed as they've been
You
with him.
think?
Yeah.
I don't know. After the Zuckerberg podcast, do you think he's part of this?
Which one?
Any of them? The colonies, the underground civilizations?
I think Joe might play both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mark plays both sides of the fence, not because he wants to, but because they put their boot on his neck.
Oh, you don't think it's his own choice to be in the cool club? You think
No.
there's pressure from the outside?
I think our military and the good military pressured him. You play along and you give up your secrets and the things you were doing there. I don't think Facebook is a privately owned company. I think it's owned by our government.
Right, which
And I
is kind of
think-
what they're trying to do with TikTok now.
Yeah.
And the same with Amazon.
Right. And that's why, like TikTok, it's really a forced sale that they're doing, because even if it is like publicly traded, a bunch of senators and congresspeople are shareholders.
Yes.
So there's a huge incentive for things to be forced out of, it's not just only about China and security. It's about they're not making money off of it, but they're making money off of every other platform that is publicly traded. So it really is a conflict of interest for the lawmakers to be able to profit off of these social media platforms. And of course, they're going to have a favor towards the one that they have shares in.
That's right. Who are you?
You know me better than I know myself.
Yeah.
When
The
did-
aliens were like,
Yeah.
they were nervous.
They got nervous for a second.
what was your wake up?
I did that earlier.
I'm interested in the soul thing.
Let's put our drinks on the
Right?
It's kind
ground.
of
Okay.
So that means she has a different soul than she was born with.
Thank you. What they just said, and I'm not scared to be wrong, and I always say
Right.
this, it's not good for job security, I can tell you. But what they showed me when you asked the question is, it's not a completely, quote, different soul. It is almost like your soul as if you had already lived 2 or 3 more lifetimes to step into what you already are. But it reads as twin.
When we've been hanging out, we've had a friend that got high around Jen, and she thought Jen was an alien.
Well, that's because she has them in her energy
So
field.
are they around her,
Oh, yeah.
or is she one?
I think we're all,
I don't think so.
yes, we are.
Really?
Yeah. We have like 23 different strands of
Oh.
otherworldly things in us.
Right.
And so this is a fun question to ask tied to all of this. Now, this is what came, these things are coming through in readings now more than they ever have.
Yeah.
And
People are listening.
yes, and the reason they're listening is because a truth frequency has been activated on Earth. And so how I see it and interpret it is we were always in the third dimension, what you can see, hear, touch, taste, smell. Around 2012, the Mayan calendar ends. We're all going to die. It's the end of the world. And it was the end of the world the way we know it, but it was the third dimension now is immersed with the fourth dimension simultaneously. In the fourth dimension, there's no physicality there. It's where every thought, feeling, and frequency goes to live, good, bad, or indifferent. And so we've taken from 2012 to 2020 to acquiesce those 2 dimensions, to become familiar with them. So it's, quote, normal. Because don't try to get a human to do something abnormal or unfamiliar, because you're going to get blowback. And then January 2012 was the beginning of the 5th dimension. Now, the Bible would say revelations, the truth gets revealed, truth frequency, and that heaven on earth. So heaven only means expanded consciousness in the real Bible. And so the 5th dimension is the heaven, is the expanded consciousness that started coming to us and through us energetically, vibrationally, January 1st, 2020. And that 5th dimensional frequency, which means we'll be living in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th dimension simultaneously. 5, 6, 7, 8. Simultaneously. But we're being eased into it so we don't end up being crazy, imbalanced, or schizophrenic. But the rub is some 300,000 years ago, or millions even, certain races, not human, thought we were getting too big for our little human britches, took us aside, cut into our 12 strands of DNA, left us with 2, and cut out the crystalline, the angelic 10 strands of DNA that made us superhuman. And for thousands of years and centuries, that's what we were left with. So we would be obedient, and we would do what we were told to do. So they could keep building their empires and oligarchy, and we would keep being the slaves for that.
Sounds like what's happening now.
And the truth frequency is on January 1st, 2028, the 10 strands, God, I had a dream about this. I literally just I realized this, I've had a dream about this, and this is so deja vu. I was like, because I woke up in my dream going, why are these three beautiful women looking at me? And then it's like, what's happening?
You're not gay anymore.
I know. Hold on, let me see.
2028, you will become straight.
You changed your mind.
So 2028 will be the full installation of the crystalline DNA. So it's not that, quote, Christ, the physical being, will return to earth. The Bible never said that. It said the Christ consciousness, the crystalline consciousness. And it's been slowly reawakening. So by 2028, we're going to be third, fourth, fifth dimensional frequencies. And we are seeking the truth, even if it makes us uncomfortable, in preparation for our brothers and sisters in other starships to come and go, what you doing, girl?
I would love to clarify some things to maybe
Please.
people who don't know some of the terms that you're talking about. Like, so Christ consciousness is basically like a unity consciousness. So it's basically like living in the understanding that we are all one, that everyone is a reflection of you, that there's only one soul in the universe, that it's God's soul, and we're just basically little fractals of God's dream interacting with each other. You know, you are talking also about the dimensional stuff.
Yes.
So, you know, obviously we live in the third dimension. And so as we know, like the fourth dimension is time. And so like sometimes it's hard to understand, like how can a dimension be time? So like a way to explain like the fourth dimension would be like, point A, point B, these are both in the third dimension. But from getting here to here requires time, because being in this physical location to this physical location, the only way that you get there is through time. So fourth dimension is overlapping into our third dimension at all times, but there are beings that are living in the fourth dimension. So for us, we know that for me to get to from this place to that place, it takes time for me to either walk, drive, fly, whatever I need to do. But then there's higher consciousness beings that
Like
are able
Eddie.
that are able to not
See it.
experience time in two physical places don't need time
Yes.
for that distance to, you don't need the time to get there. You can either be in both of those locations at once. And that's how these alien UFO craft, the real ones,
Oh, yeah.
are traveling. So they're basically from point A to point B, because they're experiencing life in the fourth dimension. They just can fold that they're both in the same place at the same time. So a lot of times people think that they're having interstellar travel, but it's because we're in the third dimension. We need interstellar travel to do what they're doing. They're living in a dimension that they don't need time to get from point A to point B.
Which they've been doing for centuries. That's like oxygen to them. Like we think going from point A to point B is oxygen to us. But I love it when people lose time on a regular basis and not know that they're doing it. Like when they're sitting in traffic and they're driving, and then they get home, they're like, how the hell did I get here? They have no cognizant memory of them even driving home. They just pulled in the driveway. They were lost in thought or lost in a higher dimension, but their inner being is driving the car.
Isn't that just daydreaming?
Yeah, a little bit. And so there again, your physical body is here, but you're getting to go outside of time, space, earthly reality to connect to that in the present moment, oneness energy.
And psychics experience time differently as well. So like say there's like a couple terms in like the abduction UFO stuff where you have missing time, where there's a blip of time that is not accounted for. And then you have compressed time where something happens super, like in 1 second, 10 different things happen. But that's actually how psychics receive information. So when you're receiving information from someone who's passed, you're experiencing compressed time because you're seeing this person's whole different points of their life all within just one instant. You're seeing, oh, they got sick, they died, these people were there, these people were there, then they had a funeral. But you're not experiencing it. You're experiencing compressed time, which is like a fourth dimensional thing.
Which is like a strobe light. And so if that person died in 1973, it's somewhere in your thought bank or your consciousness and theirs. It's just this weird thing. And then it's hard to figure out which part is part of it.
Because then you bring it back to the third dimension and have to say in the
There you
third
go.
dimension the words. And you're like, well, did it happen here? And that's why a lot of psychics are off with time because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
getting compressed time.
Yep.
What
Oh
are the
my
comments saying? I'm curious. Like, I feel like I'm in like, me and Susan are just like,
This
let's
is
see, I want to see what the people are saying.
Oops,
it's-
sorry.
There is no time. It's a
Date for
fabrication.
chickens is a thing now. Oh.
so
It's not a fabrication. Time is perception. So,
Yeah, a lot of people are wondering about Satan,
oh, we can talk about it.
Antichrist.
also, can I ask you something about time? I think time didn't exist before on this planet. And I feel like it was a manufactured thing about 150 years ago. And I think when they did the last reset, which they're desperately trying to do now, they implemented time to keep us in the two strands of DNA so that we wouldn't remember our connection to the oneness, God.
Mm-hmm. So all time is now. So in a way, there is no time. People are saying that time's not real. It's not that it's not real. It's that all time is at once. And we do experience this because right now we can only be in the now.
Yeah.
The past is in our mind and the future is in our mind. Neither of those exist in the physical. So we're always experiencing nowness.
Yeah.
It's just that maybe beings in other places experience all time at once. Kind of like even that movie Arrival, where like the aliens, they see time as like a circle and it's all at once. And then, for us to have time in this way, where basically we need to experience it linearly, we are also using time. So like say we have time on everything, clocks, watches, everything. So like you're saying, like about 150 years ago, everybody starts being much more aware of time because before it was kind of like, well, it's daylight, well, it's nighttime, I guess it's another day. So when we became super aware, our awareness, our consciousness starts to create reality.
Yes.
So it's not even that it's like a trickery of it, it's the hyper awareness of time. Now we have the seconds on our clock. So we're seeing time in a different way because our reality is creating that experience for ourselves.
And now we're in the time jumps and the timeline splits because of the extra dimensions slowly superimposing over that third and the fourth.
This is all so
I know.
insane.
It's really, I know it sounds
I feel
really
like
out
you
there.
guys like met your match.
No.
But it's fascinating.
There's a lot of
they
conflicting comments.
Yeah, what are they saying?
I don't know. Some thought Obama was the Antichrist. They
Yes.
didn't believe it.
Yeah, I think the Antichrist stuff, I've done a lot
Some people
of.
agree with you. Some people disagree. Some are in the one dimension, 2, 3, 4. Not ready for the fifth.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, time is linear to us. That's how our minds need to process it. It's part of the third dimension. So exactly, that's what it is. In the third dimension, to go from this physical to this physical, we only can experience it through time. To go from being a baby to an adult, we can only experience that through time.
And then when you go to sleep or you take a nap, there's no time
Mm-hmm.
because I've already had this experience in the future, in the past, now. Because when you're sleeping, there's no time, space, reality. It does this. And thank you. They just said, because you prepare, I prepare. Anytime we do something like this, when you line up that level of pure energy consistently, you're going to come into something like this that ends up being like, I call it an energetic multiple orgasmic combustion point. And so the energy goes like that. And that's where your deja vus are. Okay.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, this is like a deja vu vibe.
It is. It's got that whole feeling, otherworldly.
Right.
I don't know why I just did that.
Don't they say deja vu means you're on the right path?
Deja vu for me is when you've lined up enough energy on something that's really important to you and you line it up purely and then your body steps into that reality and you're like, oh my God, I've been here. Oh my God. And then it disappears.
And
Because-
so in the book Journey of Souls, the way that they describe deja vu is that basically, because there's a concept that we choose our lives before coming here. We choose who we were going to marry, who we were going to have as children. And they say that before you're born, you kind of get like snapshots of these moments that are on that chosen destiny path. Because we have destiny and free will. And destiny is the free will of your higher self. And then our regular free will is the one that you're choosing every day. So if you're in your destiny path,
Yes.
you will get the deja vu because it's something that you saw when you chose this life.
That makes sense.
And you were in no time then. So you already knew that this was going to
My
happen.
husband would say you're having a psychotic break.
And I wonder if in
I was
those
thinking, like,
moments,
what would Drew do? Like, what would Drew do?
that's a new podcast. What would Drew
What
do?
would you do?
We should do this and then play it
He would
back to
kick an
him
ass or two.
while he's watching it, and
No,
then just watch him go.
he-
Susan, what are
would
your
say
thoughts
that
on all
some-
this?
He would say that was a psychiatric thing that you're going through. But no, I believe it. I think that some people's brains work like that. And, we're able to, go into the fourth dimension. Some people just aren't. Like, it's like what you said, like you get it all at once, you download it, and then you are able to spit it out. Maybe you're an alien too.
I've seen some.
I know you said Shane Cashman was.
Shane.
Or Shane.
That's
He's
why
the one that
that's why
introduced
I'm
me.
here. Yeah.
Oh, the
That's why
cute
we're all here
guy.
'cause of
Yeah.
Shane.
Yeah.
With all the
Hey,
kids.
Shane.
And
Yeah, he just had a baby. He brought it to the inauguration, and
Aw.
he wrote a really cool piece about how strange the energy was at
the
the inauguration. He's tapped into the vibes of the universe.
and it's funny because
But he's very about God. Like, he'd probably
Oh,
say,
yeah.
"I rebuke all this in the name of Jesus Christ."
Oh yeah. Well,
But it's not against God.
But he might argue that it is.
I think it is the purest expression of God, but I was raised Southern Baptist.
Well, also Shane, I was like, "Are you sure I should do this show?" And he's like, "They're the good psychics."
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a
we're
difference.
not going to mess with
Yeah.
you. We'd like to
Yeah.
call some things out, though, because it is the name of the show, Calling Out. So if we can call something out, that would-
Oh, I just figured that out.
I'm not mean enough these days.
I used to remember. I used to say, "Why didn't it called calling in?"
And by
Because
the
they're
way,
calling us out.
I want to talk about our sponsor today because Dr. Drew TV is the free place to be. You don't have to pay money to YouTube or Rumble or whatever. We don't expect any donations, anywhere. But if you want to, you can. But we don't try to make you do that to watch our show. We have sponsors. And today, most people know that staying hydrated is essential to nearly every bodily function, especially if you're an alien. But 75% of Americans do not consume enough fluid daily, not to mention as we age, and especially during fires. Natural changes can make staying hydrated even harder with Native Hydrate by Native Path. You can fill your body with essential electrolytes for cellular hydration, plus branched chain amino acids and 9 essential other amino acids. There's a lot of stuff in this drink. These natural ingredients are backed by science to help strengthen muscles and minimize cramps, improve bladder health. Ooh, good stuff. Boost energy, improve brain function, which I could use today, support weight loss goals, and more. Okay, these are all things everybody thinks about, right? That's how important it is to hydrate. Native Hydrate is free of artificial flavors, sugars, and dyes. It's only 5 calories per serving, and every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee. So you can spit it out and send it back, and it's all risk-free.
I've never seen a drink with a warranty. That's awesome. I'm going to order that.
Visit nativehydrate.com/calling out to see what optimal hydration could do for your health. That's nativehydrate.com/calling out. It's a lot of stuff to type in, but support our sponsors because it helps us, keep this show going. And it is good. When you click on the link, you'll see a bunch of old people, but it is good for all ages. It had, great ingredients, and read the ingredients first to make sure it's okay with your doctor, but it all looked pretty good. And we're trying to stay hydrated here, but we keep spilling all our drinks all over.
He looked like Mountain Dew before I got here. I ate it like now.
I know. Get
What's
that.
that smell?
Yeah,
You're dehydrated.
we're gonna
Oh.
set you up, Emily. No, after the fires and everything, we found out that we can't drink the water in Pasadena anymore, and it's kind of weird. But you mix it with water, you can take it with you and stay hydrated. You don't have to drink. Water alone is just not good enough these days. So hydrate. We'll make sure you guys all get some before you go home.
I'm excited.
Ooh.
Yes. Anyways, back to what we were talking about, Satan. Are we going to talk about Satan?
Okay.
Now, I really wanted to, a couple of weeks ago, before the fires, the baby, and Trump, and all the, things that have happened in our universe that
Done a lot.
yeah, in the last 2 weeks, it's been crazy. We noticed a lot of drones flying over. Oh, wait, there's the baby.
There's the baby.
There's my son and my husband with Emilie Pinsky. She's been taking over our life for the last 48 hours, and I want to thank her for that. Anyways, so there's another.
She is.
There she is. Yes, she's so cute. They are so tired, these two, but great parents. And I think that my daughter-in-law is an alien because she's been through a lot. She did a great job. Amazing. Thank you so much, Zarina, for bringing that child into this world. Anyways, Kaleb, your timing. I do want
no such thing as time, Susan.
I want you to show the picture
no
of
such
Drew
thing as
sleeping in the
time.
hospital. That was pretty funny. Like we got to the hospital at 1:00 in the morning, and he slept in this chair for like 7 or 8 hours, and he was pretty darn mad about it, but he did it. It was so cute.
If you're talking about the drones,
so-
Susan, I have a video clip that can segue us straight into that. It's of
Okay,
Trump
back to drones.
just talking about the drones.
Back to
It's
drones.
really
So, okay, wait. So we had all these UAPs, I guess, or drones flying over New Jersey for a while there, and wondering where it was coming from. Some of my psychics were sending me information and said they said they were coming from a ship, and nearby some fishermen saw it, and they also this is just my human brain. Okay, this is what I'm looking at. And a couple weeks before, we had just done an alien attack in Hudson Yards, and I was, there's an orb over the Statue of Liberty. And 2 weeks later, we had orbs and these drones. So UAPs and these drones floating around everywhere. I mean, it seemed like they were in clusters. And I know you guys are experts on this, but my instincts, and I don't know, you guys can tell me what you think. I feel like a lot of these UAPs are Chinese built, and the government is hiring them to build these drones and such. And they can actually come out from under the water and go into the sky. And they're testing them for military purposes that we shouldn't really know. I mean, I know Trump really wants to know because they're not giving us this information.
You're probably not telling him either.
But I always say that if you can't figure out what it is, it's got to be China. So let's show the video.
Caleb, don't take me, China.
But is it anything these drones? Is it anything that people need to be worried
No, I think it's terrible. I would like to find out what it is and tell the people.
And can you commit to some kind
In
of...
fact, I'd like to do that. Could we find out what that was, Susie? Okay? Yeah, why don't we find out immediately? I mean, I can't imagine it's an enemy, or there would have been, people would have gotten blown up all over. Maybe they were testing things. I don't know why they wouldn't have said what it was.
I can't believe we're back.
Yeah, so-
we get 4 years of this. I'm so excited.
I
know.
Every single sentence was a punchline.
We would have been blown up or something. Like,
Why
no,
is he
they would have
so
been
funny?
shot down if it was war, right?
I love how I was like, Susie.
Susie, could you go find out what that is right now for me? Oh yeah, that. But
So optimistic. Can't imagine.
wait, is somebody? Yeah. Anyway, so that's my interpretation. I'm not saying the UAPs are like, a different factor. The drones are a different factor. And it's all coming at once. And it's so amazing that we just have no idea what it is. So that's why I want to see it psychically and from your energy, because I know you guys talk about this, and it kind of got swept under the rug for the last couple of weeks. Nobody gives a shit about drones anymore.
Not on the news cycle anymore.
I mean, I was in New Jersey looking up, wondering where they were, and Melissa Cabillas is a psychic that I use on this show, and she has videos of them going over her office in Staten Island, and she's like, "What the hell is this?" So, anyways, I'll let you take over from there.
So, some of the research that I did, there's something called the DPA Title III, which is the Defense Production Act. And it was basically reenacted in 2018 by Trump. And it was to make us less dependent on China because China had been producing all of our drones up until that point. And so they actually allotted, I mean, I'm sure way more than this, but in those documents, it says $200 million for us to start our own drone program. And then that created two main programs out of it. One of them is called Blue UAS, which is unmanned aerial surveillance or something like that. And then the other one is called like replicator program. So we can see that there's a whole bunch of private sector. So the reason that they're saying it's not government is because it's the private sector. It's the military industrial complex. It's more of like private companies that are doing it. So they can be like, well, this isn't the government because the government is paying private companies to do this. So in a way, it is like to make us less dependent on China for drones, also medical supplies, also AI stuff, things for us to start producing. Because basically, if China is only producing the drones, we have no chance against anything then, because then anything could be installed, anything could be in there. So this thing that was happening in New Jersey is they actually dedicated a testing corridor, which is specifically over New Jersey down to Delaware, which is a drone corridor for them to practice it for real life scenarios. So some of it is for intelligence, some of it is for surveillance. They basically, and what is the reason that they're not telling us who it is? It's because, well, one, the news cycle, because the election was over and the inauguration wasn't up yet. And basically, CNN, all these things have to keep the lights on. So they need to be like, we don't know what it is. And then also, this unknown threat is a huge benefit for the DoD. So basically, in order for the Department of Defense to get the funding to give it to the private sector, they need Congress to pass legislation. So the congressmen have to not know what it is, the mayors, and then also, and the government is so compartmentalized. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
On purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't need to answer to the mayor. They don't need to answer to the local police. The DoD doesn't need to answer to this one. The private sector doesn't need to answer to this.
They know it's not nefarious. It's just, it's
Right.
for us. It's
But then if we say
on our
it's not,
team.
if we say it's not nefarious, then how do you get trillions of dollars in funding into the Department of Defense, which then filters into the private sector again? And we have the private sector, everyone that's working in the private sector in these areas are mostly former Congress, former people in these positions. So they're lobbying their old job. So they know exactly what they need to do to get the funding for it.
It's crazy.
And then also, it keeps things,
I'm here just like I've been searching for my applause sound effect this whole time because she's nailing it. She is absolutely. Everything I've read about this. That's exactly what's happening. I was shocked. I thought, Jennifer, you were going to go into saying these were aliens and stuff, but no, you went straight to what the actual thing is happening. I'm very surprised.
That's why I brought her. She knows it all.
Can you do the wide shot of me and her so she's not just looking over to me and there? That's better. Thank you. She's looking at me. I'm like, okay, that's better.
They're trying to get the budget. It's a DoD wants the budget, and so they want people to be afraid enough during an election season so that they can get the budgets put over. That's 100% what it is. So it's like maybe 25% of the stuff people have been seeing were actual drones in the sky. The rest of it was a lot of mass formation psychosis and people, seeing things in the sky that weren't that. So then people can look at those pictures and just be like, oh, it's just, that's obviously just a plane. These people are all crazy. So then they discount it. And then no one ever on any side has to say anything or confirm or deny it because they're all acting like they don't know when they all kind of know, it's the Department of Defense trying to get a new budget coming through with a new president. Why does this happen just before a new election? It's not coincidence. Jennifer, I'm going to have to follow you on TikTok now. I was very surprised.
Because she was abducted by aliens, so you'd expect her to say, it's just the aliens.
That's what I was
she's got
expecting.
all this other knowledge.
That's
She's been
totally
working on this
legit.
whole time.
Wow. She knows it's not aliens because she's met them, so.
Exactly.
How does NASA tie in with the DoD and these drones?
Well, so we just recently had last year where NASA, so then we have this other thing, the AARO, which is the UAP division of the Pentagon. And so NASA just partnered with them last year. So, and there was a whole briefing where all of these NASA people asked questions from all of the Pentagon people. And it was like a Congress hearing that was streamed. It was televised. Wow. And so they are both in, obviously in bed together.
Yes.
But this drone stuff, these are also just like a lot of private companies that have crazy deals and licensing deals with the government.
And then those companies, they filter it through 15 or 20 of them that are absolutely not related in any way, but it always comes back to BlackRock, State Street, and the other one. Oh, yeah, always. It keeps coming back to that.
So where do they come from, though? And are they on huge, like, barges in the ocean somewhere, or do they come from underneath the water?
The drones?
Yeah.
I think that they're on military bases, and also, they have these specific areas where they would do any type of testing for military stuff.
Okay.
Now,
Well,
there is other phenomenon that's
military
happening, though. The orbs is something different.
Yeah.
Like the orbs is probably something that is more of like an interdimensional thing. So it comes back to what we're talking about with dimensions earlier, because we can only see a 3-dimensional object. We can't see a 4th-dimensional object.
Right.
So if this is potentially either a craft, a being, a something, and if it lives in a higher dimension, the highest thing we can see is a sphere, because we can't see a tesseract. We can't see these shapes that we don't know that exist in other dimensions or beings. So when we're seeing something that is a ball of light, a sphere, and an orb, that most likely could be something else, but our eye is a 3rd-dimensional eye, so it can only see as high as the 3rd dimension. Kind of like the Carl Sagan Cosmos famous thing, where basically he has an apple and says this is a 3-dimensional apple. If it was in the 2-dimension, it wouldn't just be a flattened apple picture. It would be the points of contact. So an apple in the 3rd dimension, put down to the 2nd dimension, is like the little 5 nubs that are on the bottom of the apple as little dots. So what we're seeing as spheres, a 2-dimensional will see dots. 3-dimension, we would see spheres but those could be points of contact of something from another dimension.
Okay.
And then when you're focusing like this, that's where your attention is going. But sometimes those other multidimensional things come outside of your vision and it's peripheral. And then you'll see the orb of light and you turn and look at it, it goes away. It's the same thing.
I don't even look up ever. Like people are like, oh, there's a planet in the sky tonight. I'm like, cool. I look, it's just like a dot. I didn't look up once during the drone thing. I'm so disconnected from this conversation. I don't know why the drone topic, I just didn't. Why don't I care about it?
Well, I think because they were trying to make sure everybody cared too much about it. And they were trying, you're so ready for space.
Maybe I'm not getting on the ship.
You're getting on the ship.
No, maybe, because we can't all fit on the ship.
Yes, we can.
No,
Well, it's
so
your soul,
maybe I'm
right?
not the one
it's
that's
not your body.
Maybe I'm sacrificing myself so you guys can go on the ship.
But meanwhile, I'm like, if you're not looking up, how do you find anything at the grocery store? But then I know what you're talking about now.
I don't grocery shop.
See?
Yeah, no. Like, did you want to be an astronaut?
No.
Okay.
So I have a question. There was a documentary about a woman who floated above New York City and was taken by aliens, and her son saw it and everything. And did that really happen?
That was on Netflix. I didn't watch it, so I don't know her story.
So cool, because people saw her floating in her pajamas, like going up into the sky.
So, connected to that, the movie The Fifth Kind.
The Fourth Kind.
It was the same thing where they would float through the wall or they would float through the window into the ship. And these were big lumberjack men that were crying like little babies when they went through, not during that, but when they went through hypnosis. They were literally, they showed the actual footage of the real men who were under hypnosis that were experimented on in Alaska. And Alaska has one of the highest rates of abductees.
There's something weird in Alaska.
Yeah,
I was actually going to go to Alaska to evacuate. I thought,
no,
I don't know
why? Oh, because
I was
there's
told it
18
was
men
weird.
for every one woman.
No, I just heard there's a lot of weird things happening.
I would not. You couldn't pay
You
me
know
to
what?
live there.
Maybe I'd look at the sky because of the lights.
Well, you'd have to. It's dark
You'd
for
have
30
no
days at a
choice.
time.
Have you been to Alaska?
I want to go.
No.
It's beautiful. It's
But
beautiful.
it's weird, right?
Oh, it's so weird.
So people are abducted in Alaska.
I think they're abducted more in Alaska than any other state in the United States.
That's crazy.
And they have their own Bermuda Triangle there.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. Oh, I mean, it's just, but okay. So, these fighter pilots are going Mach speed and these things are coming at them and then dodging them. Like I've been watching alien things on the History Channel. And, I've had other psychics say it's like, it's energy. It's not necessarily like little green men or whatever walking around or whatever. It's an energy thing. But is there something, if you had a fourth dimension brain, could you see a little thing, an actual alien?
So obviously our body is a three-dimensional object, but your third eye, your pineal gland is how you access those other dimensions. So that's why a lot of times people feel themselves floating. It's actually like the astral body that is floating versus the physical body. And that's also even like if you think of like yogis, gurus, they need to be in complete stillness to experience all of that stuff, because the physical body, that's why it happens in the sleep state, because the physical body being completely still, like kind of allows you to be able to go into those other things. So people can see beings in the fourth dimension, fifth dimension.
Not nets.
No, I don't believe so.
No. I think they're the normal. They're the abnormal. That's really the normal for the normal people to get to.
Okay.
And then there's the people who see and sense and feel more than that. And the leading edgers helping other people as they wake up get there. The catalysts, the channels, the way showers.
Right.
I wonder if anybody on our streaming channels on Rumble or YouTube or X have ever experienced anything like this. If you have, give us a shout out. I want it.
When I was now Joan Rivers' famous joke,
My favorite.
mine too. She's like,
8th.
you never see a UFO landing on the lawn of Harvard or Princeton or Yale. It always shows up in the trailer park in the South. And which is where I
Couldn't
grew up.
be more true.
Yeah, and I've seen them since I was a little boy, and I never told anybody about it. And there was this little guy. It was like little guy, and he never walked into my room, as far as I understood. That the door frame would be here, and he would always start like this, and then he would stick his head this way. But he never walked through the doorway.
Did he have long fingers?
Yes.
Like they always show on.
Oh, yeah. He had long fingers, the big eyes. He didn't look like a gray. He felt, to me, now looking back, more interdimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And then that happened through my whole childhood. And we lived in the damn woods.
Right.
With no street lights, nothing, on a dirt road. It wasn't pretty. And then after I left home and moved to California, my brother, Terry, said, I think I was in my 50s. He said, can I ask you something? I said, sure. He said, do you remember when we lived down there and blah, 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 blah? I swear to God.
That's the story I was going to tell.
And he said, did you ever see anything in that bedroom? Because Mom and Dad took the wall out between the two individual rooms when Doodlebug was born. And then we had one big giant room. He said, did you ever see anything in the doorway in that trailer? And I was like, I did. And he said, well, what did you see? And I said, what did you see first, the fingers or the head? He went, shut the fuck up. And so we both saw it. But it never crossed the threshold for him or me. Mm-hmm. I've seen them since I was little, and doing healing sessions and readings. They will come in. I know we sound crazy, everybody.
I know.
I've been in sessions where I didn't even know there were like these 10, 12-foot tall things that almost look like ants or praying manti.
Mm-hmm.
And they would walk, and I'm sitting there doing the reading for someone, and they would lift the roof of my house up. And then they would just stand there and look in it like we were in a dollhouse.
Wow.
Watching the person I was reading
Like the
for.
Sims.
And I'm like, listen, I'm going to say something to you. Please don't be alarmed. I swear I'm sane. And then I would tell them, and they would go, oh, well, I invited them here, but I told them they couldn't come into the room.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, who are you? But it's real. They are in other dimensions. And thank you. They just showed me this when Susan was asking you about the the jets flying and then the unidentified flying objects or whatever they were in the other dimensions. I saw an image. If we just close our eyes and certain things disappear, that's the same technology they have. Even if the pilot is coming at them, they're gone. It's like, and I've seen that happen where the
So it's
ship
like a
just goes like
brainwave
this.
or something, or a
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I know it's North Carolina.
Okay, so this is the only story I have to contribute to this entire conversation. I'm from Attica, so it's a very small, like, hick town, and
New York?
upstate New York.
Okay.
And the one story, like, everyone always told in my family was that they were coming home from, like, a toy. It was like a Tupperware party back in the day, but it was
Yeah.
a toy party. And it was my great aunt Barbara with her 3 kids late at night. She, like, made some cash driving home, and all of a sudden they looked and they saw like a flying saucer, but it wasn't horizontal shaped. It was vertical, like Instagram Reels now. So it was vertical, tons of lights. The kids looked and they said nothing the whole car ride home. 20 years later, on the same exact day, all of the kids had the memory and called each other and said, "Did you remember that day?" But they never talked about it again. So 20 years, their mind was wiped, almost as if they weren't supposed to report it.
oh wow.
Yeah,
And it was in the middle of the woods.
there you go.
Wow.
So is that why did
Yeah.
the memory? Did they take the memory? Like, what's
I
that
do
all
think
about?
they hypnotize you sometimes.
You guys are looking at me now like I'm the crazy.
No.
one.
That's part of the phenomenon,
Right.
right?
Like,
If-
did they? Because maybe they didn't want them to report it, so they had to wipe all their memories.
And sometimes it's about the awareness too. So, like, the collective awareness around this has been changing. So
Yes,
then
I agree.
it allows people to kind of have this memory that is in their
It was
brain
weird, the
to
exact
be
same
activated.
day, 20 years later, do you remember that time we were at a toy party?
Do you remember when it was? What year they had that?
Probably like 1970s,
Okay, but when in the 20-year later mark.
probably 90s.
Okay, because there's going to be more of that mass awakening from experiences that have been deeply planted in the subconscious,
I will
unconscious.
say I did not care about anything psychic until 2012. I started rubbing my pineal gland like in class. So something happened in me. But prior to that, didn't even know anything about it. Deja vu as a child, then it stopped, then the pineal gland started. And if they're taking fluoride out of our water, isn't that happening soon? Are we
Yes.
all going to become more psychic? I stopped brushing my teeth a long time ago so I can be psychic. And I think it works. I
It does work. I don't use fluoride anything.
don't use anything.
Yeah, when I stopped getting Botox, as you can tell.
Same.
Yeah, because it deadens the pineal gland.
I'm doing the gua sha.
What-
It does. Oh, Botox? Really?
It deadens the pineal gland.
Right.
Oh, yeah, mine's dead. Okay.
That's crazy. I guess I'll cancel my
It
Botox
died a long time
appointment.
ago. It's been 20 years. Yeah. So, okay, I want to report this too shall pass. May have met, at the age of 4, met a couple of aliens and isn't quite sure, but is willing to say it out loud. And J.C. Shadow said, had a dream. I slayed a demon tormenting a young boy. I became aware during the dream and started praying. Then I picked up a Bible. It became a sword of light and killed the demon. So, yeah, but this too shall pass is convinced that he or she may, I think it's a he, because I think that Avatar is a hot looking guy, that he had an experience like that. And thank you for sharing. That's interesting. I mean,
There's going to be so many more because there was a time where you were ousted, outcast, you were ostracized. It was horrible.
Who?
Betty
my
and
parents.
Barney. Betty and Barney. Is it Betty and Barney White?
Hill, Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then they were interracial in the 60s and 70s, and they just went after them.
Right. They were kind of like the OG alien abductees that were taken.
Yeah.
And then so they kind of became the main story.
this you shall pass. The picture is Jesus. So sorry, Jesus, but assuming a male, but
Great abs.
and then Britt's like, I'm begging for an alien experience.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it happens to all of us.
I think we all travel interdimensionally all the time.
Yeah.
And especially in meditation,
I've had
sleeping,
dreams like
method.
that
100%.
where I was like, floating along, and my cat
Like astral projection.
Yeah, I was like on a freeway. I've heard those stories. Like it's a bunch of freeways, and my cat went by, and
Wow.
They found a time capsule.
but I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
I think it's true.
You know, when you see the magic carpet ride, all the movies and the cartoons about that, they found a time capsule, and in it, it's that part of the world, in the Indian countries. I don't know my geography, and then when they opened it up, they saw holograms. The thing just shot into the air, so you could see it like Minority Report. And it was up in the air. And then they showed where the people in that country were riding on plywood boards.
Whoa.
And the plywood boards were uncomfortable. And they were all floating on these ley lines, just like you see in all of the science fiction movies. And this is on Earth. And then it was so uncomfortable to sit on the cardboard, on the plywood and get splinters. They put pieces of carpet over top of it.
Oh.
And there's literal footage and time capsules of them floating along the ley lines, just like what you're talking about.
Interesting.
And then they shut that shit down
And
real
then
quick.
Disney stole the idea for Aladdin.
There you go. And now, well, I ain't going to talk about Disney.
We can't talk about Disney.
Well, Jennifer, let's close with your final comments and what you think we should all know. What are you really ready to divulge that we should all take away?
Okay, so at this time, we're talking also about drones, UAPs, aliens, whether you want to have an experience or if, everybody's able to.
Look up.
So right now, we're in like this kind of disclosure time where we're getting this like slow disclosure from the government where it's basically the way they're doing it is like a safe way of doing it. If they just say this exists, this is just what it is, there's going to be like a quantum explosion because everybody's going to like shit their pants at the same time.
Yes.
So basically what's happening is this very slow drip of like when after every hearing people say, well, nothing happened. They didn't say anything anyway. Didn't they say that years ago? It's actually a safe way to disclose the information because, and then part of the reason why the sightings are up is because of our free will.
Right.
The free will of people keep saying like, I believe in aliens. I want to see them.
Because we all have iPhones and we're seeing videos of it and going, oh, I'm going to pay attention next time.
Right. And that them kind of blipping into our reality is our free will calling them here. Because these beings have always had the ability to come here.
I see one soon.
So like it's a collective consciousness.
You got to call me when you see one.
I know.
Susan's ready.
But you know what's interesting? When you said that about the iPhone, that's an alternate reality that people
I love that
believe
reality.
in that reality more than this reality,
love that
which opens you up to this
I
reality
like
up
the
here.
virtual reality more than this
Why are you pointing to you?
because my phone's right here.
She's pointing to her crotch.
It's not showing to me yet.
Like, what a shiny belt buckle, Emily.
I think I was told beware of the talking book,
Oh, gosh.
saying that this could be the problem.
I'm sure.
But I don't know. I think it's helpful.
The phones?
Yeah, because we're
Absolutely.
connecting with people we would never cross paths with.
So I think I know the answer to this question. I'm going to write it down just so you know I'm not lying. Should we be should we be scared? Should we be afraid?
I don't believe so.
Yes.
Because basically it's only any of these like beings that are out there, aliens, spirits, jinn, whatever's been happening, it's already been here. If it wanted to do something nefarious, that could have been done 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, could happen at any time. The reason that it's like starting to come into the awareness now is because we can understand it. And it's also about reality. So it's kind of like we have to declassify what reality actually is. And that's the hard part. It's not there's beings. We all kind of believe in ghosts or this or that. Yep. It's the reality is not what we actually believe it to be. And this is like something that is happening on a quantum level. And that's kind of what the scary part is. It's not scary that there's beings. It's scary that this reality is not what we believe it to be, or that there's more.
Oh, yes. And super quick, Dolores Cannon.
That's the type of hypnosis I do.
Oh, no, you didn't. And I believe there are beings from other dimensions, and you can say star systems if you want to, that are literally here waiting to see how this unfolds. And that's another reason we're seeing, sensing, feeling multidimensionality in a way we've never felt it before on Earth.
And I believe it. And, you get real brain bendy. We go back to that oneness thing where it really is just God's soul and where God is the one observer.
Yep.
So basically, it's like these other beings are aspects of us watching lower versions of ourselves kind of play out this game.
And when we get back in touch with that inner God, that oneness, that connectability, understanding, then when we see a praying mantis looking what we would call extraterrestrial, or an ant person, or a gray, we're going to feel the connection. We're coming back into the awareness of the connection itself, which is nonverbal anyway, non-physical anyway. So we won't be like, oh my God, Steven Spielberg told me to be afraid of the gray. And be like, no. And then we just connect. Because there's good ones and there's bad ones everywhere.
You guys think that people will be dating aliens before robots?
I think they already are.
I mean, they're going to date the AI already. People are already getting dumped by AI.
Right. People are using it for therapy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
fascinating.
Today, yeah, you can manifest a boyfriend through ChatGPT, it said. I don't know why that was on my Explore. People are prompting like how to, and they're literally saying that they're manifesting love through ChatGPT.
I'm not playing with AI. I'm not playing with it.
I feel safer with AI than this alien bullshit.
No.
I don't believe in the aliens. I don't know. Maybe
Really?
I believe. I don't know. I've never had an experience, and
Wow,
I feel
Emily.
like I've been in psychosis.
Did
so.
you have a little, like most children
I
do?
didn't mean to call it bullshit. That was really negative.
No, it wasn't.
Sorry.
No, it's authentic. It's
I guess
authentic.
I just feel like you guys, it's real for you, but not for people like me.
So did you have, and all children do, so it's going to be such a general psychic question when you were a little girl about a teddy bear or a certain stuffed animal you were sort of obsessed with for a minute? Or was it taken away from you?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I was spoiled.
Mm.
Mine,
Yeah.
that might be.
Because there's something.
It was Susan.
It was taken away because of, it feels like it was just removed and literally taken away. Oh, we don't know what happened to the teddy bear.
Sounds like my mom.
Oh, it happened in preschool, but I grabbed it right back. That was it.
Well, there's a little green man behind you saying,
I don't know. I think I'm okay with the dimension that we're in. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty miserable all the time.
Somebody on here said I like that. I'm not going to look up.
Yeah, I don't know.
which is such a non-8 thing to say
Really?
because heaven, earth, pull it down.
Like, I feel spiritual when I'm making money.
Yeah, good.
It's that.
Yeah.
Isn't that the 8 too?
And creating.
Money is energy.
And creation.
She creates. Yeah,
Creative.
she's a creative person.
It's not. You don't feel good because you're making the money. You feel good doing the thing that you like making the money to receive.
Yeah, it's the journey for sure.
Yeah.
But
That's
She was
funny.
like that too. He just walked in.
well, we're Virgos, so
We
Where?
have a Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew little hit we have to do right after this, and we have like 5 minutes. But this was really awesome.
guys, sorry if I ruined the vibe at the end.
No, you did.
didn't.
No,
It was just-
skeptics are good. We
Yes.
like both sides of the coin.
No, I believe it.
Somebody had to call it out.
I believe it's true for you guys. I'm just saying for me personally, like I'm not. They
But
can't
if-
take all of us. There's
But
no
if somebody
room.
came
But
to
they-
you
they
and
don't-
started telling you a story, you might actually listen, right? And go, that could have happened. You never
if you
know.
knew them
She's heard
really,
my
really
abduction
well.
story.
Yeah,
10
I believe
times.
her abduction story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and you have it in your family.
I do. Oh
Did
yeah,
they
that too.
did they like go on your belly button or
No, it wasn't like the kind of probing or anything like that.
Hal Sparks has a really great story about this that he shares.
I need to check it out.
Yeah, and where they kept they kept coming back generational and picking the same family, the same bloodline for experimentation. Yep. Why did it get all of a sudden?
it's crazy. You can find Eddie Connor on Instagram at Eddie Connor Soul because he's awesome and he gives a mean reading. Really, seriously, everybody should experience that in their lifetime. And then you can find him. What is your website again?
It's Eddie Connor, CONNER.com.
With an E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just Google him, Eddie Connor with an E, and you'll find him. And on X at Soul Intuitive. I think you're better off on Instagram, right?
Yeah, bless my heart.
Yes, we like that. And Emilie is at Emilie Knows Everything everywhere. She's Emilie with an IE because everybody here has to have funny ways to sign it. But I tried
Mom
Emilie
and Dad.
with a Y and it said doesn't know everything. And I was like, I don't think that's her, but
yeah, I own that account too.
she's a good writer, and she's intuitive but doesn't know it. She's a very creative person. So check
Yeah,
her.
my Pisces in North Node, so eventually I'll get there, guys. Let's move on to Jen.
And then Jennifer also find her on Instagram at JK_Jen or TikTok JK_Ultra. And also just YouTube, like just put in JK Ultra and you'll find her.
it.
She's known all over the universe. And if you're in
And
another,
she has a really, really good John Bonet theory you guys need to look at. It is.
I would like to
gonna blow
do
your
John
mind.
Bonet. That's coming
She should
back.
come back and do John Bonet.
Yeah, we were on my birthday. We're at a restaurant. They were playing it in the restaurant on December 22nd. I was at
That's like the time
the
when
documentary.
They bring the story back up again.
I was like, that's such a weird thing. It was a Thai place, but it was such a weird thing to be playing, showing this poor woman.
But on the 22nd,
Yeah.
that's a master number.
The 22nd, yeah.
Yeah, and that's Law and Order.
That was my birthday
Oh,
on the December 22nd.
Oh,
so,
that's right, Law and
yeah,
Order.
I'm full of that. But
I think December of next year, I think, is the 30-year anniversary of her death. I think it's December of next year, of 2026.
yeah, so we should definitely go into the John Benet Ramsey world a little bit.
yeah, her theory blew my mind.
I
And it's one I've never heard. So we got to bring her back.
Let's save it for the next show.
am.
You can tell us afterwards, but we'll do it again. But thank you, Kaleb, for all your expertise and tech abilities and insights, pulling up the videos, and also Robin Delano, my producer, who doesn't have a mic today because we had 4 people. Thank you for all the hard work and time, and thank you, Drew, for having a TV station that we can do this on. So, Dr. Drew TV is the free place to be, and it's free, and that you can say whatever you want here, and also it's free, so you don't have to pay for it. So go to nativehydrate.com/calling out and support my sponsors so that I can support myself. So so anyways, thank you guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
The Wellness Company knows that taking charge of your family's healthcare is a top priority, and that is why they are constantly innovating to deliver the products and services to help you be rationally ready for an emergency. They've added a medical kit for kids to treat over 20 childhood illnesses: nausea, vomiting, allergies, asthma, bioterror, God forbid, croup ear infections, lice, and more. And you can also order the kids kit with an EpiPen. Carefully sourced, great price. If there's a risk of anaphylaxis for your kids, you want that EpiPen. That can be in all kits, each customized for a different purpose. It comes, of course, with a telemedicine consultation and a guidebook, and you can replenish the meds up to 2 years after the date of purchase. So go to drdrew.com/2WC for 10% off any medical emergency kit or supplements. That is drdrew.com/TWC.